close enough that even with underdog matchups, a lot of these things have been very scary, especially with those best-of-1 matchups. So finally, we are going to be heading into it. All these server issues have been resolved. I've got my toes and my fingers crossed just to make sure that I'm not jinxing it, and we'll be kicking it off once again with Nuke.
Love that you take that double precaution by crossing your toes as well for us. Interesting statement. But all over again, we're getting things started. Entropiq Prague taking things on from the T side. Sacramento, of course, do elect to start from the CT side, as this is their opponent's map pick now, as AJT looks to move in, and Bosony quickly takes over with 2. Dooley's doing a lot of work here, triples it up and jumps right in front of the slaughter. 2 versus 2, but Entropiq Prague are heavily hurt, and Sacramento are better off when it comes to the health.
Quartz, last man standing, 1-on-2. I mean, he's gotten 2 kills, but he's got to do a lot more. Information being given up. He's getting a bit tied up with the doors, isn't he? Rotating all the way around. Wants to take this avenue of approach from Decon. Quick tap to the bomb. Quartz is confident that they won't be sticking it. Finds one in the back, looking for a headshot. And it's actually a 4K to start the game off. Entropiq Prague, they're going to start with a bang.
Wow, Quartz. Okay, we thought that Sacramento had a good chance at the start. I think we saw Impossibly with the Doolies getting 2 kills straight out of the bat, then rotating over to the people falling from vents and securing a 3rd one. But then Quartz, due to the fact that he had 2 initially from the first trays and then clutching things up at the end, is exactly what Entropiq Prague needed. And they will be starting things off with a 1-0 in the bag. And of course, being on the T side, there's not much Sacramento can do when it comes to funds. Impossibly will secure FAMAS for himself, but other than that, it looks like it's going to be the Eagle Fest.
Looking for a headshot, not quite. My last chance being taken out. Entropiq Prague, they're trying to keep things relatively clean, taking control of outside. Smokes being deployed. And Sacramento, they're not going to have an immediate response to any of this. Mole, though. All right, he's getting the 5-7 put to work. That's a headshot connected. Heading straight into Secret, though. Sacramento, I don't think they have an adjustment ready for this. No, Axis has to check 2 angles.
Ooh, he really needs to check his angles, but he ends up getting 2, and he won't be punished by it. He's expecting someone from control him, but Entropiq Prague aren't really taking that avenue. Quartz, as soon as Axis peeks out again, does manage to collect that kill, but Impossibly is in quick pursuit of that. There's Morisco as well, the final remaining player of Entropiq Prague. Things have turned up against its head because Sacramento have found themselves some rifles to work with. Impossibly putting that FAMAS to good use, wrapping up 5 kills the first 2 rounds, and Sacramento find the equalizer.
That's actually way worse than straight up losing the pistol round, because now they've given up 3 weapons. They've given up a scout, they've given up a Galil, an AK. They don't have to really invest in terms of money. They're going to have a lot of utility to spare as well. So Entropiq Prague, now you're looking at a situation where they will be kicking off with a really bad economy, and they'll try to reclaim whatever their losses are. And in the meantime, perhaps Sacramento gets a chance to run away with it.
They do.
Huddled.
Outside again for Axis. Could have been in a position where contact could have been found early, although Entropiq Prague do opt out of that decision. Hones. And again in a position that could be aggressed upon, but no, it's a fairly passive start from Entropiq Prague right now. They are taking their time in that regard. Sacramento, I guess some trade damage will fall through there from Hones, and for that reason he does end up chunking down Impossibly. But this flash is really important here. Moving into the ramp side for Axis here and waiting for us. This could go in, if this doesn't go the way of Sacramento, this is a lot of ground control given to Entropiq.
Those deagles are about to shine. This is really problematic if you're looking at it from the perspective of the CT side. Quartz adding 1 more to the tally. Dernier has been taken away. Now the scout rifle and this M4 has to be put to good use. Heading into A, and I think Mobile's got the right idea. Switching over to the AK though. No, not a chance. They're gonna head straight into the vents. No chance at immediately getting back onto the site. Quartz is able to get 1 more, and I don't think the CT side can do anything off it. Pavlos, that's a clean round with the Eagles.
That's a back and forth indeed, because that's Entropiq's force buy coming through and them recovering 3 rifles to Safer as well. They didn't drop a single player. Their trays were clean to say the least, and it all started from Holmes' kill right there. You know, having the patience to finish up what he started, Quirtz staying under control when it comes to the outside, and he completely annihilated his opposition. You know, Sacramento had to go for the rotate. They already saw 3 players moving into the Vents position, heading towards the B site. Therefore, they need to find a way to get out. But because Quirtz was there to stop them, there was literally nothing they could do.
Slower pace of round, I think, with the exception of Quartz already nestling himself deep into Secret. Oh, I think he could have done a lot more if he hadn't given up his early information, but regardless, since he's only up against Eagles, he's willing to cause a ruckus here. 1 shot on the back. That is 1 player eliminated from the Sacramento side. Meanwhile, however, Entropiq, they're trying to cook something up towards lobby and A as well. Moel, nice shot with a 5-7. Hones tries to run straight out, and man, these pistols are looking really deadly on the server today. My last chance, even with just a USB, he's managed to salvage an AK, looking for 2 angles. Nade to knock him out, and Morisco doesn't let it get out of hand. At least they've salvaged it.
That's actually quite expensive for Sacramento, obviously, for Entropiq Prague. Obviously, Sacramento did go for a force buy there, and you know, if they were given the win, they would have gotten it. You know, I guess they did go for that idea to make sure that they have a loss bonus stacked up, even because they know their chances of winning one with a shaky buy is very small. But, you know, quaint kill there from Morisco in the end. But at the end of the day, Entropiq Prague do get the victory, therefore they can increase their lead.
Well, once again, it's this tale of the pistols. I was actually... How is Mole just staying true to his name and mowing them down with just a 5-7? It keeps happening. It seems like his 5-7 is built different.
You thought it's a lawnmower or a mower in general was called that? Well, no, I think we need to rename it to Mowel. It's a grass mowel. It's a player mowel.
A lawnmower?
Lawnmower. Mole. That is really hard to say over and over again. That's
really a bit of a tongue twister. Speaking of the lawnmower himself, he's allowed a lot of players to pass through without giving up the information. And access, he's not going to be ready for it, with the exception of the audio cue being given up by the door as soon as they start to make their way through. Morisco, he's taken away the lawn mowing man. And soon, the rest of his teammates will follow. It's only a couple P250s, and I would say that I'm not hoping for anything out of them, but we've also seen that 5-7 being put to good use. Aw, not quite.
Not quite, indeed. Unfortunately, we'll try and do some extra damage, but Morisco's there to retrieve him. Entropiq Prague, the cleanest round they had so far. Actually, that's not true. They won a deagle round with all 5 players remaining. Okay, I take that back. But it was fairly clean, right? Homes were the only man to 4, and they can start build their economy. Morisco, you can see he's already hitting that 8K mark. It's looking pretty impressive.
It's actually crazy that Entropiq Prague are able to immediately recover and they have a bit of a ramp to work with, considering how poorly the game started for them. You know, you win the pistol round off of a 4K, immediately get shut down, but at least they were able to pull it back together in a very clean fashion. They've also been able to build up quite a bit of bank. Now, with Morisco on AK, Quartz following suit, it's going to be very difficult to take them down, especially if they keep losing players like that. But my last chance is looking to allow them to bring it right back. Morisco taking quite a few scratches in the process of taking a duel. AJT reducing the numbers on the CT side. Sacramento, man, they consistently get scattered every time they play passively, because Entropiq's tendency to allow individual players to take their picks, it really works against Sacramento's playstyle.
It really does. But you can see Entropiq Prague are still sticking out at the bottom layer of the map. You know, circling around the B site. Looking to get a push on. For Axis close by. He's the only man able to stop this if it comes in fast. He's the only salvage salvaging sort of mark to come through. Lecker does move out. 4Axis stops them. Quirts, though, able to bounce back. That's the B site clear, but they need to find it as such. AJT also putting that Mac 10 to good use as Dernier looks to move into the site. Stopped in his tracks, though. He's spotted out a player, moves back, tries to see where the rest of them are hiding. He is in a 1v3 after all, and realizes his chances are so slim, he has to back out.
If Entropiq keep playing like this, I wouldn't expect Sacramento to be able to claw their way back into it. Now, this is something we expected, considering how much time Entropiq have had together as a team. But I do still think that because Sacramento have made it all this way, they've got a very reasonable chance at having some kind of upset. Now, this terrorist side, it's a bit unorthodox, you know, having this much of a ramp to play off of, but they've done a stellar job already.
So these picks have been a little bit weird, right, from Entropiq. They've been a bit off. They seem to come in where Sacramento don't really expect it. It's just been random bursts of peeking out through corners and winning out on individual trades. So I know there's a world where they lose those trades and things would go the opposite way. It's just a matter of Sacramento managing to flip the table in that way.
I really like that Sacramento are allowing some aggression to come through, but because Dernier has been baited out, he's not going to get a chance to capitalize on it. But in the meantime, Entropiq slowly making their way outside. Have 2 players situated there. A couple players in the back. Just defending the bomb. Taking their sweet time setting up. Now, because of the early aggression that Dernier threw out with his M4, the only man with an M4, by the way, they're going to be slowing down their pace a little bit. They don't know exactly where this aggression is going to come from, and it also allows them to wait for the mistakes to come out from Sacramento. Now, keep in mind, this is a very different round to what we've grown accustomed to seeing them play, because normally they have somebody tuck into secret very early on, try to take his individual duels, and that man has usually been Quartz. He's trying to do the same, but with just a bit of a different pace, while the rest of the players start to make their way into lobby, and Axis is about to deal with a world of hurt.
Axis, he's waiting. Dernier close by. He's also there for assistance. The flash comes out. They know Axis into the left. They do spot him. There is going to be a 1-for-1 trade at the end for Axis, and Dernier needs to fall back. Nade not falling in the location he would have liked it to, but Entropiq Prague do not take control of ramp. Instead, they fall back out. And Mole's position does make sure that he does get to retrieve that information and relay that to this team. Impersony, call him a completely different name in that regard, but Entropiq Prague, the moral of the story is they win on the individual duels again. And even though Dernier does manage to skate away with at least 1 kill in this instance, Entropiq Prague have taken control of the map, they've taken control of the A site, and have gotten the bomb down.
Sacramento are always on the outside looking in. Entropiq's been able to get individual frags very consistently, and normally I would try to point out some kind of flaw within the team play, but that's not really the case. It seems like Sacramento, they're trying to play this passive style, and although Entropiq are doing a really good job at aggressing, it's not like they're playing this 2-man setup or they're flashing incredibly well, or they have setups to confuse Sacramento. No, it's very simple. It's a very simple game plan, which is allowing them to win off of firepower. So really, Sacramento need to be fighting back with some of the same.
By the way, that was a very important rifle save there from Sacramento if they want to stick into this matchup. But you're right. I think Sacramento may be playing this a little bit slow, but in this endeavor, due to the fact that Entropiq Prague did have the better weaponry across the board, it did make those duels a little bit more difficult. Sacramento wanted to collapse on them towards ramp, but the fact that Prague did end up moving away from it and heading towards the A site instead did sort of confuse them with that call. They did have the information early, but of course, again, lesser weapons, less chance of them to collect the kills. So I think Prague knows where their strengths lie, and each round they can notice where the weaknesses of Sacramento are. But look at them, they're already moved in from the outside, entering the A site, and Impossible is the only man there holding it, spraying down from afar, but it's Lecker and AJT to collect the kills. Dernier tries to change things as he gets 2 kills, make that a triple. AJT shutting it down eventually, but it's all down to Axis in a 1v1.
This is a really important 1v1. He needs to get this to allow his team to have some sort of momentum coming back into it. If Entropiq can win this out once again, you look at a Sacramento side which has absolutely no money. They won't even have the AG to work with. There's a lot of burden on his shoulders, but at least Axis is in the right hands. He's managed to get homes, and that should be a defuse.
Well, there you go. Sacramento find themselves back in it. And that came down to Dernier, right? 3 kills in the bag as they try to cross through. I think Entropiq Prague didn't want to check that corner, or at least when they did, they always ended up falling. I think they went into his crossfires one by one. But man, it's just ridiculous how quickly Dernier was able to turn that around. You know, 2 kills lined up, beautiful transfer, turns around towards the outside position, and there you go, collects it. And Axis, the only thing he needed to do is get 1 kill over from the entry early on, and then when he wrapped around, win that 1v1 duel. And that's exactly what they did, and they find themselves on the board.
My last chance, that's the first kill connected. Is this the beginning of the end for Entropiq Prague? Let's see if that works out. Oh no, I jinxed it immediately as I said it. The kills start flying through, and it only leaves Impasane within the chaos of 4 different players that he would have to take on if he wants to try to get his hand at a, well, he just wants to save this M4 for a bit, but that audio cue was the final nail in the coffin. That wasn't the sound of him landing in the vents, that was actually just a nail on his coffin.
Yeah, I hear that reference. I was just trying to think if I could like carry that on or comment upon it.
They're like, like, nah, let's
maybe
just leave him hanging.
Yeah, let's just leave it hanging. But I mean, the conversion there from Entropiq was so quick. The instance you said, is this the beginning of the end here for Entropiq Prague? Well, no, that was the beginning of their opponent's end. And right there, you know, Sacramento fall back into a state where they can't really buy up. Deagle's 5-7 in the hands of Mole. We've seen a couple of kills fall into his hands with that weapon so far this game. But, you know, other than that, Entropiq Prague, they know when Sacramento are in difficult situations when it comes to the economy. And I think they've realized that want more. There's no reason to sort of go aggressive. They can just try and lurk out, play with numbers, and get these victories. Of course, my last chance here. Not sure if he's visible, as his head is visible. Oh, no. He has been spotted, and he ends up falling back. 42 points of health remaining in the back for him. So I guess when it comes to health, all across the board, things have been placed back into an equilibrium standing.
The thing is, I believe he would have been able to do a lot more with that position if he waited out a little bit longer and allowed his teammates to act as bait, but that's not something they were able to capitalize on. Mole, let's see if that 5-7 works again. Yes, it does, and even gets a second in the process. 2 versus 1. Axis, he's got the burden of getting a clutch once more, but this time the stakes are higher. He's only got a Desert Eagle. He's got 2 players to deal with, and at least he's got the gift of God in front of him. AK-47 collected. Audio cue, perhaps that might have been given up. Needs to clear these angles. He doesn't even have a kit, so he wants to take things slow. That's 1 player spotted, but not quite pulling the trigger in time. AJT closes things out.
For us, I thought that would have been a lot more quicker than, I think a lot more simpler for Entropiq than it was, but I think the fact that Mole could do stuff with his M57 there was just enough to delay the push to follow. I mean, there was a follow-up kill to that as well, so, I mean, all around good stuff. Dernier actually initiated that, so I think he put Morisco to the dirt as he tried to initiate the push. But yeah, no, Sacramento, this is where they're able to find themselves back into the game. They've got another buy for them. If this goes wrong, Entropiq have a really good start to the T side. They already do, but they can extend it even further, and they will be in challenge for the next round as well. So very important round for Sacramento.
At least they managed to get the opening frag, and this time Entropiq don't actually have some kind of bait and switch setup where they have a 2-pronged approach to a bomb site. So this means they're not immediately capitalizing on their player being taken out. Quartz, the man leading large and in charge with 19 kills at the moment, he's been taken out. And that's something I didn't even notice there, Pavlos. How is Quartz already on 20 kills almost?
That is crazy. We're 10 rounds in, and he's pretty much found 2 kills basically every round, in essence. That is pretty impactful, to say the least. I don't think we've seen too much of my last chance this game. Yeah, I think they rely on his damage quite a bit, and without it, the performance of Sacramento has been a bit lacklustering in that regard. Axis Running down ramp, of course, Incendiary making sure that he can't really hold up a close position. But Entropiq Prague, it feels like they know a flank could come out from Sacramento, even though that's not what's really being attempted right now from this Latvian side. They're still quite wary of it. Dernier, that's a really important position to hold. He won't be spotting out anyone. Maybe he spotted out some feet. He will spot someone out to his left. Little does he know, Morisco falls right in front of him. Rapid that tap, down he goes. Own Boss does manage to collect one over to the other side. This Hondos, is Hondos Lecker in that? Oh. The moment I would get confused by team names on the server, Sacramento managed to get all of the kills and somehow get the win.
Part of the reason they were able to get this round is because they took out Quartz early on, and when you've got a man that is making that much of an impact, now you no longer have the information in secret, now you no longer have the opening frags in secret, and the previous rounds they were able to get the round even despite having lost out their first player was when they already had a two-pronged approach, when they had some kind of switch setup, if they were heading in both outside and in hut. But that wasn't the case. This was a slow approach, and this slow cook simply didn't work out for them. Sacramento, once again, they're willing to get a little bit aggressive. Shoulder spotted, my last chance. Wants to take the bull by the horns. He's, nearly gets the second one as well, but that's not the case. 3v4, Sacramento. They seem to be getting the advantage time and time again now.
Oh, this cap could be very impactful by Moore here. Spray down for him, and that is going to be simple. Doubles it up as well. Quirtz couldn't have done anything in that angle. The smoke's faded out just in time to favor Sacramento, and the only man remaining is AGTT. Right now, he's trying to find salvation for his team, but won't be able to do so. Impossibly makes it impossible for Entropiq Prague to get anything else from that round, and you know, when we said a couple of rounds ago that would have been really important for Sacramento to pick up, they did, and they even found a follow-up.
For a second, it looked like it was out of harm's reach for Sacramento, but now it's very doable. What does matter, however, is how they end up doing on that T side. Because Entropiq Prague, being on CT, that changes quite a few things. Oh, look at that, man. Quartz is just doing what he does best, quickly heading into secret, all the way into ramp.
Ooh, and they've got no idea either. Axe is going to walk right in front of him, won't check his left, because why would you? Why is even Quartz in that angle? And all of a sudden, Entropiq Prague need to be scared for their lives. I mean, Sacramento need, because Quartz is just completely annihilated the back line. 3 kills into his pocket, even though Dernier falls. I mean, Quartz, he's already done the masterwork. He's managed to turn the scrolls, and Sacramento, with the 2 players left, their only resort is to save their weapons. And considering this was a pistol buy for Entropiq.
I talked a little bit about this in the pregame, Pavlos. Normally, when you're looking at relatively low-tier teams, you see 1 or 2 standout performers, but usually that's been Morisco for the side of Entropiq Prague. And the fact that Quartz is stepping up in this fashion, I'm super happy to see that he's been enabled to do what he does best. And man, they don't even get a chance at the retake. They don't even get a chance at saving. So Sacramento right now, they're feeling very hurt from this. If they lose this round, the 2,900 loss bonus is simply not going to be enough to buy them something reasonable within that next round. What masterful footwork, man.
9-6 isn't over Sacramento, right? Obviously, I mean, Entropiq will find their way onto the CT side, which technically and statistically would be favored for them. Of course, we never know how that actuates in game, depending on the pace that the T side is able to create. But look at all those smokes outside, man. You can see attacking smokes, you can see defensive smokes all across. Okay, a couple of them faded now, so things have opened up. Maybe some movement can commence for Entropiq, but Sacramento, they're worried. They're shaking right where they stand. And they're just to wait for information to be handed over to them. They can't be proactive. Entropiq will not give them the chance. Instead, they need to wait for the push.
Nice shot from Morisco, kicks things off, and once again, you find Sacramento on the outside looking in. My last chance, he's trying to find a narrow angle over towards ramp, perhaps spot a foot, something of that sort, but Entropiq, they've suddenly gone cold. They're exhibiting dead silence.
Ooh, all of a sudden, though, Sacramento went out on their jewels. Lecco is able to bring them back into a position where they can come back. Hohenboss does make his presence known outside. Paternia is there to stop, perhaps. Ooh, Heaven Control. Hohenboss is out of it. Lecco is all that remains for Entropiq Prague, and Sacramento may have a chance. The clutch will not be given over to Entropiq. Sacramento get themselves a fifth.
A bit surprising that Sacramento can even get that round. Entropiq were in such a prime position to simply push onto any site, and with Sacramento being scattered across the map, it simply didn't work out for them. Now, they're well within arm's reach. They've defended themselves from falling into that 2,900 loss bonus with 0 in the reserve pit. It's really going to come down to how they perform when that side switches, because you know that if you've got a team like Entropiq Prague who've stuck it out for for 5 months, they've basically stuck it out for half a year, there's going to be a lot of coordination when it comes to the CT side. But last round remaining, let's see how this plays out.
Ooh, already from the outside, Entropiq being proactive in their pushes. Impossibly on the side, needs to hold things down. Multiple angles he needs to be accountable for, but won't be able to hold his ground for long. My last chance, though, needs to come out of these vents at the right time, and it's just really hard to judge. We'll wait for the bomb to be heard onto the site. Needs to be careful, though, as it has been touched down. Molly in hand, the rest of them looking to approach as well. He's not going to make his ground known. I think the first man to have impact, perhaps, will be Hones, as he wants to look out. Milas Chance gets out of it. Axis and Derna do end up dying. It is Milas Chance to get one kill, but Entropiq Prague do end up with this half having double the amount of rounds Sacramento have been able to accumulate.
And I think that scoreboard actually tells a fair bit of the story. Normally, you can't really paint an entire picture off of it, but Quartz has been so insane with getting his individual firepower flowing that Entropiq Prague have had no trouble finding entries, finding openings, having a nick in the armor of Sacramento so that they can make plays on the other side of the map. He's also done it many times with very little support, you know, being able to go down into secret, being able to frag out towards the A site. When you're consistently doing that, it's going to be a massive pedestal that your team can use as use for a leg up. Very important pistol round.
Very, very important. Sacramento desperately need this to get right back up, but Entropiq Prague really are not giving them a chance. Morisco making sure that with everyone he has to face, he'll be able to delete, and Hones is there to stop them. That is just brutal. 2 taps to 2 heads, and those skulls have got holes in them now.
Mm-hmm. With this kind of a ramp to play off of, I don't think Entropiq Prague would allow any sort of shenanigans coming back into the game. By the way, those were 2 really good kills from both Hones and Morisco. We didn't catch Morisco's kills initially, but really solid stuff. Oh,
wow.
no.
Okay, Hones is just making it look easy. I mean, it is easy.
That...
They're walking right in front of him. Just give him a chance.
You know that... Have you played Operation Riptide yet? Or like, have you played some of the missions? Yeah, so there's a mission where...
any similar with any of the other operations, then...
No, so there's a mission where there are bots parachuting down towards you, and you have to shoot them out of the sky with an AWP, and that's all the mission is. And and that's kind of what it reminded me of. You know, they're just coming down the silo, their bodies dropping.
I actually haven't bought the operation. What am I doing?
Me neither. I'm just playing the missions for friends.
Oh, wow. So people that don't have it can still play it just so their friends can complete it, because it's a team one?
Yeah, you can even play it solo. It's just that when you eventually buy the pass, then your missions are automatically complete. Like, you get the points for it after you buy it.
Oh, right. Okay. I get that. I never actually tried that. That's why I don't know. But that's really interesting. I mean, I'm guessing you'll buy it once you've completed, if you've completed most of them, right? But at this point...
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, fair enough. I get that. AGT.
Really
In position. Oh, won't be given anything. Impossibly, my last chance to make sure that there's no more of the Entropiq defenders over to the B site. Quirts does put them into a position where they can come back, but with a numbers disadvantage, this will not be easy.
These angles are too tight, and I think they've already made the call to save. You can see them heading into T-spawn. It makes a lot of sense when you've only got about $2,400 average on the team, or even $2,500 if we're being generous. You want to have as much utility going into it, but there's still a hunter out, you know? I'm curious as to whether or not Dernier can smell the blood. Does he know that there's one in CT? Does he know there's a couple in T-spawn? Well, they haven't really committed to it. Just for the sake of sticking to their weapons, they won't venture out too far. At least that's an opportunity to get right back into the game, right?
It absolutely is for us. They're getting right back into it in a sense. But, you know, I mean, still, it's not like they're challenging Entropiq Prague too much. I think if they do lose this round as well, that's where they need to start getting worried. But for now, I think it's not like they're testing the comfort levels of Entropiq. They're still pretty snug where they lie. It's still a double... Well, it's still double the amount of rounds than their opponents have right now, so they're pretty crispy clean. But we do know how advantages can switch up as soon as tempo is lost. And that's what they need to be aware of. Leka right into the mollies, will end up dying to the flames.
Oh, no.
While Shards is well placed, the molly does get them the kill, and that could be entry towards their site.
But it's a lot of vision being denied, which quickly makes Sacramento reroute their efforts towards lobby. Dernier gets one in the process of rerouting to B. Morisco, he's taking scratches as well. So now they've got a call to make. Do they reroute to A? Do they reposition? Because that's where Sacramento's headed. It's going to be a topsy-turvy as they start heading to the A side, but that's not the right call to make. They've lost two players here, and Hones, he's still looking to desperately isolate one of these players, but he's got so little HP to work with. Swings out, that's a headshot. Ooh, not even a headshot. He just gets a frag straight up. Entropiq Prague, they weren't supposed to get that round.
They weren't at all. Entropiq, wow, okay, they had the right read. Sacramento, instead of going for the ramp control and entering the B site, they wanted to rotate back just like Entropiq did the previous round. So Entropiq expected it. They had to call to make, right? Give the A site over and go for B directly, try and contest them as quickly as possible. Well, that's not going to be a call because Sacramento have the numbers, and if they have the B site prio, then there's no way they're going to win it, right? So they made the call to stay on A site, not go for the rotation, and it ended up working perfectly because Sacramento fall directly into their arms, and it seems to be the exact same thing happening over again onto Morisco. And Impossibly and Turner are able to get things back on track for them. Impossibly doubles things up as well. So Entropiq Prague need to fear. Quirts looks to aggress, but my last chance is there to stop them. Oh, needs to be wary. Multiple angles. Leka does peek out. Sacramento lying in wait, but Quirts is the only man remaining. Does have the right angle, does have the right idea, but my last chance is able to shut him down. And that's where I guess Entropiq falter, right? Because this is where they lose. They did manage to win a round they weren't supposed to, but I think things have turned around topsy-turvy. Morisco starts seeing things off strong, but Sacramento's pace towards ramp was everything that was required. And I think they find their way back into the game now.
I think the balance of the universe was immediately restored after Entropiq Prague got away with a very nasty round there. But back onto the pistols doesn't mean that all is in equilibrium. I mean, because that's something for Sacramento to work off of. Line up the bodies, get a little bit more money in your wallets, get to that 8th round one step at a time. They can consistently pressure that economy. I do still see a future where this can come out to a win for Sacramento. And for the price of 2 pistols, they can quickly...
now. This could get dangerous. Ooh, ends up being a little bit shaky on the Entropiq side. Boss. I read out the names on the kill feed, and it's a little bit hard. I know Hones boss is Hones, but you know when you try and react quickly to the kills, it's just difficult. You know, It's that extra level of thinking that I'm just not capable of.
Now listen, Pavlos, I know this initially seemed like a bleak game from Sacramento, but if we can see those double digits come to light, perhaps there's something to be said about their performance in this. But heading straight into the A side, it's going to be very chaotic, and Holmes wants to take advantage of it. Couple kills already being secured without even vision of the opponents. Course wants to add one more to the tally, gets a few scratches in, and that only leaves Impossible in a 1 versus 3, and no chance at redemption. He's quickly been taken out, 14-8.
And that was a small bite by Entropiq Prague. That shouldn't have been their win. But Sacramento fell directly into their hug. It was so smooth how the MP9 sort of rolled in there, right? He's just, in essence, squeezing them to death.
That was such a good flash that even Entropiq Prague's players were flashed, and it still ended up working. Like, that's the kind of high-level thinking.
Yeah, no,
lack
it
of
was
thinking
such a good flash
you need in
that it flashed 9 players on the server.
Fantastic stuff. The only person that didn't get flashed is the man that threw it.
I think he also was kind of flashed, to be honest. He was half blind, you know.
I'm just kind of trying to be a bit generous.
Yeah, maybe that's 10. Oh well. At this point, Entropiq Prague, I think they found comfort. More looks to drop directly into the hands of Holmes, flashed out, manages to survive for a little bit longer than I would have expected, but still, it is equilibrium restored. Morisco, good shot. Clean and quick. If you combine those two words, it's click. And that's exactly what he did. He clicked on his opponent's body. And now, Entropiq Prague have the numbers. Sacramento, what do you do with this? Not much, as it seems, because Lecker just picks up 2. This just looks too clean by Entropiq.
This next round isn't going to be very forgiving for Sacramento either. Look at their money, $0 on 2 players. Impossible, I mean, he's still kind of balling. He's got enough money for a decoy.
Oh.
Let's see if that bomb plan is going to come through. No. Any chance that they had at having a reasonable buy, courtesy of the bomb being punched in? Nope. That's a 7-round deficit, and you have to play with Deagles.
Doesn't look great. It doesn't look great for us. You have to hand it to Entropiq, though. That's some pretty good results.
I think we sort of foresaw that Entropiq being on the CT side and having a lot more experience on these matchups, it could have been a bit one-sided. We did think about that, and it ends up coming to light. Of course, Sacramento, they're not too well-versed just yet within their roster. It's a very new team. I think 4 of the players have only been playing for 10 days together. And you can see that being reflected in a lot of their team play. A few more clicks, and that should be it for this map number 1.
Yeah, it's just clean, isn't it? That's the end, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it. Entropiq Prague, 16-8. And they keep on the double the amount of rounds that their opponents have for the better end of that second half. But that was an interesting one. I guess you could say that Sacramento had some good moments, but not as many as Entropiq did. And for that reason, we had our clear vectors for map number 1.
Absolutely. I think Entropiq, they showed a lot of class compared to the opposition through and through. Even with a few drop rounds here and there, it happened on both sides of the spectrum, so you know that they can be forgiven. But as soon as it came to the CT side, Sacramento, they weren't able to do anything short of that initial 1-round lead that they were able to get on that CT side. So, you know, when all is said and done, Entropiq, they showed they were the better team on map number 1, but we've got a lot more action coming up, right, Pavlos?
We absolutely do. Do not go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Map number 2 is on its way, but we're just going to go into a small break for the players to rest out a bit, but we'll be back soon. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Central Eastern Europe champions, basically known as CEE champions. Just thought I wanted to say the whole thing right now, but hope you guys are doing fine. Hope you guys saw the first map, because it was quite interesting, right? I think there was a back and forth at the initial stages of the game. I guess a lot of forced rounds going on either side, but Entropiq at the end of the day were the clear victors.
Absolutely, and I'm a bit worried. Is that going to eventually reflect onto...
It does happen.
Are you messing with me?
You're not muted? No? Well, I can't hear you.
Oh, God.
That's weird. Is that my issue or your issue? I don't know. Shall I just keep on thinking? Shall I just keep on talking? You're talking. No, you won't. I honestly have no idea what you're saying. But c'est la vie, it happens. I hope you guys can hear me. And if you can hear for us, then that is annoying for me, not me being able to hear him. But it is what it is. It is what it is. But, you know, I mean, if you didn't watch the first matchup, you'll know that Entropiq Prague is on a good note. I love the teddy bear that Wilderi is bringing on the side there. Very, very interesting. But, you know, we do have a very interesting map coming up ahead, and I'm looking forward to it because that is no other map. It's Vertigo.
Am I still not audible?
So while Wilderi is refreshing his game, and hopefully... he's in a... Wait, no, Wilderi, I think you're fine. Wilderi, speak for a bit.
All right.
Yeah, maybe he's refreshing. Yeah, he's back. Oh, you know what the issue is?
What?
It was my issue.
Oh my
an
goodness!
Issue on my end.
Why would you do that to me?
I think it was your fault. I'm sorry. I expect that everybody in chat could hear you, and I was the only one that couldn't. Yeah, I do apologize, guys. I apologize.
I genuinely thought you were
confusion.
messing with me.
Oh, no.
I thought you were trying to pull a fast one.
Oh no,
well,
that's definitely not the case. Back into the game though, Entropiq Prague. It seems they've won most of their duels so far, and there's only one left. It's Mole.
Well, Mole, he's got to do a lot of work with this USP, but not a chance. And with Entropiq Prague starting off very strong on the CT side, I'm starting to get a bit worried, Pavlos. It's not even cold here just yet, although it's supposed to be freezing already at this time of the year. But I'm starting to feel a bit cold. Do I need to pull out a jacket for Sacramento?
Do you need to pull out a jacket for Sacramento? I think they need some comforting, even if it's getting a bit cold. It's not getting that cold yet. It's still autumn, right? Not in the winter, but I think they need it for comfort. You know, when you give a hot beverage and a blanket, it's usually to comfort someone. You know, I just remember seeing
I'll get too cozy.
Ooh. Okay, interesting kill through the smoke. But for us, have you seen the BBC series of Sherlock, right, with Benedict Cumberbatch?
I've seen clips of it on Facebook and whatnot.
You should watch the entire thing. I was going to reference something, but I'll keep it for another time. Entropiq Prague seem to have got things under lock and key, as there's only one man left, and that's Impossible.
Pavlos, I've got a very important question for you. I mean, you've got long hair. Does it hang over your eyes sometimes? Because for me, ever since I've really let my afro go a little bit wild, it seems like I have something obstructing my HUD most of the time.
Oh, well, I don't have fluffy hair like you do, right? My hair doesn't go all over the place. Well, it does if it's windy, but in essence, mine just falls down. So if I just, more often than not, I tie up my hair, so it rarely becomes an issue.
Did you notice that little detail? Quartz actually Quartz actually headshotted the enemy player, and then he waited for the guy to notice before he killed him off.
I wasn't actually paying attention in that instance, but that is amusing. Man. Very amusing. And that is no way to go down, AJT. You just fell victim to your teammates' flash, and you end up dying. But Lecker and Quartz will have enough, well, they've had enough of that. They want to make sure that this round is cleaned up.
I was about to say that this is looking a bit too easy for Entropiq Prague, but quickly they've managed to net themselves an M4. They also have an MP9 to work with, so this is still very well within the realms of possibility. And did Lecker not spot ahead there as Axis was switching over?
I'm not quite sure, but I think he may be visible in that instance, Dernier. I think he's going to fall victim. Well, he's very, very low. So any shot could really shut him down. Down to 8 points of health. But Lecker, I think they know where he is. I think they spotted out his M4 as he swings to the right.
Oh, yeah, they know for sure now because he's fired a few shots off. Axis quickly gets the entry frag, but Quartz, he can still get some work done. Headshot onto Dernier. Wants to get a bit more. Oh, I love that. Preemptively aims down the angle, knows where the boost is going to be, and Quartz is good for cleanup duty.
Wow. Okay, Quartz. 4 kills of that entire round. Very clean stuff coming out from this man. Entropiq, they looked challenged at the start. It was very difficult for sort of to deliver. But, you know, they managed to... I guess there was just a better expectation of what the setup would look like, and Quartz was able to pick things up. Very nicely done. 3-0 in the bag for the Prague side.
It's always these little details that can entirely change the outcome of the round now. If Quartz wasn't checking that angle, I think he would have gotten immediately punished by Axis. But just some of these micro plays, they end up working out for Entropiq Prague. Sacramento, though, now they've got my last chance on an AWB. Now, do I fully agree with it? Not sure, and I think that's exactly why he immediately gets taken off of the server. 0 kills to his name right now, no assists, nothing. He's not gotten a chance to chime in at all.
I only just spotted the small detail. Look at AJT's M4. The Entropiq major stickers are on it already. Oh, those are so clean. They're luminescent as well. Like, they look really, really cool. Oh, neon green in that regard. Look at that. That's a spicy.
Man,
I'm ignoring the kills going around.
That is so banging.
That is so cool. And the other one as well. But on the white M4, that is just so good.
I don't care what you say. I'm buying one right now.
You better.
Is this the right time for me to go all out on skins?
No, not right now, because I think we need to determine what will be the end of this round. 3 against 3. It's getting a little bit close. If Sacramento won't have a chance to come back, they need to gain advantage over the site. It seems they haven't gained too much space. They may have found some kills in return, but no ground control has been gained over to them. The cone obstructs vision for just a little bit. Mo does get shut down. They did try that out, but I think Entropiq probably too experienced. They will expect that boost. And Sacramento now playing off from a disadvantage. Peek out from above. Dernier and Axis both went out on their trays. That's the B site given over to them. And Lecker goes. 2 players left. The angles. 1 lower, but Dernier finds it. Swings out just in the nick of time. Sacramento, they find their way on the board. Finally.
I just realized I was talking for like a good 20 seconds and I was muted.
Yeah, I was wondering why you didn't talk.
Immediately talk about how he's clearing every single angle. Well, yeah, I did, but in Fantasyland.
Yeah, in Fantasyland. You know what? For us, I think we're having some really weird audio issues today. I think, and most of them have been our fault as well. So it's not as if we can throw blame elsewhere. It's just one of those days, man. That audio is just not on our side.
Unluck. That's all you call it.
Yeah, just luck. Okay. Karma, maybe? Did we do something to miss the audio?
I'm just not touching the mute button anymore.
Who's the king of sound? Who would be the king of sound?
Yeah. Sound from no, he's not from Nexus anymore. He's an All-Stars now, right?
Is he? Yeah, I think he is, yeah. Talking about him, he's so talented. And playing in this tournament as well, so... See more of him, really. Haven't had the chance to spectate him in All-Stars at all yet, so... Definitely looking forward to the day that I will be able to do that while casting and not just simply from observing. But right now, there's a 4v5 Entropiq Prague with lesser weaponry and FAMAS and an AWP. The only rifles in play for them. They need to be highly impactful. Seeing that Hones is all by himself here, flash at hand with just as eagle to work with, and needs reinforcements quickly. Onto the side he goes, won't be spotted. That could be some quick damage being readed over. They do obstruct them with confusion. Quirts puts that AWP to the test, but Nylas Chance is able to bounce back. AJT finishing what his teammate had started on Impossony. But my last chance keeps things going with his own AWP, runs in front of Lecker, and that's how he dies. Instantly, Entropiq Prague find control over the game.
At least this doesn't really reset Sacramento too much. Dernier having some surplus with regards to his money means that he can immediately drop over some. And it seems like we're actually going into a technical pause, Pavlos. Now, there is a lot to unpack here. It's the fact that Entropiq Prague have consistently been able to dish out a lot of damage individually, and part of that reason, the flag bearer of that damage has been Quirts. And the difference within this game is that it's not Morisco on the AWP. It's actually this second, it's this 2 secondary op setup on the Entropiq side, which is working wonders for them. Quirts, normally, you don't see him consistently on the AWP either. If you watch Nuke, if you were here from map number 1, you would have noticed that he's making waves around Secret. He's going outside, just an AK in his hands, and he was consistently doing that. Now, even when he's entrusted with AWP duties, he can do just as much damage. So I really like how they can have a secondary op setup and make it work just as well as a primary op one. Keep in mind, it's not like Morisco is very heavy on the AWP either. Although he is their primary opper, most of his kills on HLTV, they've come from the AK-47, so they don't have that rigid primary op setup that most teams are accustomed to.
That's really interesting, especially when you expect like top fragging abilities and him being able to handle both weapons in that essence, you know. But yeah, no, I think it's good. It's a good juggling from Entropiq, because then that means they don't really rely on heavily investments in a round to sort of guarantee some victories, some early kills. But as we do talk about him, he does end up dying, so the Caster's Curse is brought to the table once more. But Sacramento need to work with the advantage that they've gained. If they can transfer that into a win, that would be great, but it quickly falls back into a position where Entropiq can find the equalization of the scales.
Well, that's a little bit more damage than Sacramento immediately expected to be greeted with as they enter the bomb site, but they will keep marching on forward without a smoke to obscure their vision. Well, actually, there is a smoke, at least to allow them to get onto the bomb site, but not completely covered. Dernier, bomb down. Course has already taken one out. AJT, backpack spotted. Keeps continuing that spray. And oh, he's going for a knife. Fantastic footwork for AJT to finish out Dernier.
What a finish. In style. Knife as well. Beautifully done. Entropiq. Oh, they're just styling on their opponents right now. They felt so comfortable after the first map. 16-8. Of course they'd be comfortable, right? But I wonder if they will falter at some point. Oh, you can see the sprays as well for Entropiq. Oh, they're so happy. The sister team is going to the major. I love the support being brought out.
I mean, listen, man, you call it support. I just say, I mean, if I'm in a team and I can somehow have my logo on my guns, why wouldn't I? Even if I don't care whether or not, even if I don't care about the main team.
I kind of assumed that they would be supporting them in that regard, but still, it's awesome to see that they can have that in the game like this. Heavy spray down going on. At the end, it wasn't Quest that got the kill. It was Morisco with a no-scope. So, yeah, interesting exchange. And Sacramento, even though they had rifles, it seems like they've been dealt with as if they've only had pistols. Rush out. Timing won't be right for Momel, as Quirts will be blinded out, but does get the kill. In the end, only kill goes to Axis, and he runs away with 8 points of health. One shot anywhere onto his body with the rifles that Entropiq Prague do have at hand right now should be the end of him.
This is looking a bit too one-sided for my taste, Pavlos. I talked a little bit about how teams have consistently been able to put enough pressure, even on the big dog teams, to allow us to have a lot of entertainment. You know, it's always been close, but part of that reason is because it has often been a best of one. Now, heading into the best of threes, I don't really like the fact that we're seeing Sacramento get shut down like that. And we are heading into yet another technical pause, and you'll love to see it, man. The graffiti, the stickers, all of that. Good stuff.
Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm. I kind of want to join an academy team, and I want to join,
right?
like, yeah, just to be able to do that. Even if the academy team isn't very highly ranked, even if I can just get by winning a couple officials, good enough for me. Do I get stickers from my organization? Yes.
I mean, yeah, think about the teams that can do that right now, right? Entropiq Prague, Mouse NXT, Fnatic Rising. What other teams have got academy teams at that level? Team Spirit definitely does, so Spirit Academy as well. Gambit Youngsters.
But Team Spirit and Spirit Academy have very different logos.
They do. They do. But if the name... Is the name included in the logo? No, I think it's just the logo, right?
No, it's not.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a shame.
Let me check.
Oh, well.
I think they eventually made them the same logo. I remember that Spirit Academy had a baby dragon logo.
Oh. I remember it was a little bit more different, you know. It did seem a little bit younger, if you will. But a really cool one, nonetheless. Oh, I remember when we were casting over at Blast Rising. That was fun. Either way, though, I think I'm going on a reminiscent angle right now, and I think it's put into perspective due to the fact that we've got a bit of a grayscale imagery going on for us. But it's been a good ride for Entropiq so far. I believe they haven't really been challenged too much on this map in particular. I think they're riding the wave of success of the second half they had over on Nuke. They don't seem like they're showing any signs of wanting to slow down anytime soon. I think if they do slow down, it will be due to them being overconfident and making mistakes, thus giving Sacramento a chance to maybe net some rounds in.
This is probably going to be a bit of a throwaway round at the very least. I think Sacramento, they can still do a lot if they can mobilize the AK-47 of Impossany. Oh no, Morisco's about to be caught out. That Tech-9 doing wonders for the squad of the T's. But now they can quickly decide to slow things down. Do they recover that AWP? Yes, because there's absolutely no one to save them from it. AJT, he wants to make it a bit more expensive for them. Molotov works perfectly. Flashbang connected. Impossany saves his teammate, and my last chance. He gets the opportunity to back away with the AWP. Lecker and Hones, now they've got the responsibility of holding down a site each.
The thing is, like, what I noticed with Sacramento, even though they did win the duels there, they didn't really gain any space. Now, the only space they've got right now is Axis only just making his way towards the B site. Other than that, it was kind of a trade that didn't really give them too much. So if Entropiq did have that one player towards the A site instead of having both of them in that location, it may have been a position where Sacramento would have been on a disadvantage. But now it's going to be a 2v3. But Entropiq aren't going to take that duel. They know that they need to hold on to these rifles. Their economy hasn't really been put into position where it's undestructible, for good reason. And there you have it. Well, Sacramento win out the trades early, and they finally get a win.
I mean, let's be honest. Sacramento, they're not going to be hunting for Entropiq Prague, so we've got a bit of time to talk about things. Wait, never mind. Okay, the Eagles turning around the corner. Now, with Pavlos, tell me a fun fact. Let's hear it.
Did you know that I can't think of a fan fact right now?
That's not fun at all. That was actually
no,
incredibly
sorry,
boring,
no.
but I'll tell you one.
Yeah, I really try. I really try to think. I try to spin
Pavlos,
the wheels in my brain. I'm at this point.
Pavlos, you're 21. You were born in the year 2000, correct?
Yes.
You're close enough to the 90s where this fact will still disturb you. 1990 was 31 years ago.
Nice. Wow. Damn. That's been a while ago. Yeah, you tend to forget about our perspective, don't you?
Especially for someone like me. I mean, I was born in 1998, so I'm a little bit older than you.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, come on, man, I'm not old yet.
Oh, look at the trades though. Quirts does manage to get one, but at the end of the day, again, Sacramento gain a lot of ground towards ramp. They do give away on the B side though, so if the rotation does come forth, actually as they do say that AJT does win out on the stairs here. So all ground lost is regained by Entropiq Prague as the scales have been put into a state where equilibrium can be put into position. 3-on-3 damage onto Sacramento. They are hurt to a position where Entropiq can get those kills slightly quicker. Looks like they're going to go for a bit of aggression themselves, as it expected. While our chance with the AWP spray down from Holmes does deliver. AJT looks to join the fray, and Entropiq, they get themselves back into winning ways.
It's a very similar ordeal as to what we saw in Nuke, but the problem here is who has picked this map. It's Sacramento that picked up Vertigo. I expected there to be a bit better of a performance, but we're simply not seeing signs of that just yet. They win one round off of Tech 9s. I actually can't remember the other round they won. I think it came down to the last wire as well. So if you're Entropiq Prague right now, you're feeling super comfortable. Oh, Morisco, you've only seen a pixel, buddy. Slow down. Impossine's been taken out of the server. Mobile, quick to equalize. And it's a 4-on-4. Entropiq Prague, they've got the disadvantage because they need to scatter.
They absolutely need to do just that. Holmes does aggressively, maybe finding contact quicker to the trigger than Mowell. And that puts Entropiq now in pole position to end this round in their own favor. The B site being approached now from the stairs. Of course, they are taking their time with utility thrown towards the B site, but they do back out of it. Not quite going for that engagement. Instead, they then tend to put Derner into that ramp position, but Quirts was there to collect him, so that was quite anticlimactic. So yeah, there was a chance for Sacramento there, but other than that, Entropiq do close off the players out of position, and right now Sacramento have a job and a half ahead of them if they want to do anything else this round.
That AWP needs to be put to good use and needs to connect that first shot with no damage being exchanged. And Quartz also being stuck in behind the sandbag gets a chance to do a fair bit of damage. Now Axis, 1-on-2, bomb collected. But he's simply not got enough HP. He needs to hit 2 very clean headshots if he wants to survive. At least the silver lining here is that he's going up against an AWP as well, so he can't get sprayed down entirely. Looking for Morisco. Oh, I love this from Entropiq Prague. They're not willing to take the risk at all.
Oh, again.
Possibly trying to bait him out.
Realize he stopped it. The composure of Entropiq Prague to just hold back there. Let him do his thing. You know you've got a player coming in from ramp. There's no reason to regress there. And that's exactly what happened. Oh, you were right. You barely saw a pixel there.
What do you want Sacramento to do here? Because they consistently get thwarted in terms of their economy. When they try to go up ramp, they seldom get much control because of the AWP. And once again, Quartz starts to make quick work of them. Had spotted, bit of damage being done, eventually traded out, but Lecker has done just enough damage to keep them within that advantage.
Thross, you know what lekker means in Dutch?
What does it mean?
Tasty. And it's used all the time, as in it's like, as in very nice. It's like lekker. You know, it's like it's used for anything.
Oh.
This is good. So lekker will try to make things even better for his team, but it's AJT and Morisco, the other 2 remaining players, to find the kills here. There you have it. That's going to be a 2-piece for the AWP, and Entropiq, they don't want to stop winning now.
I know we've caught quite a few lightning fast kills from Morisco, but he's still only on 6 kills. If you look at the other side of the scoreboard, or not the other side, or a different depth to the scoreboard, Quartz on the top, 16 kills and 5 deaths. So once again, he's just as dominant as he was on Nuke. And he's doing it with all sorts of weapons, with an M4, an AK, an AWP, everything being thrown into the mix. It seems like there's no stopping this man. And Morisco, he's taking control once more on over towards ramp. But Mobile, he's gotten things kicked off in the right fashion. AJT picked off over towards mid.
Already, Holmes has done substantial damage towards the B site, not really allowing the attackers to infiltrate their defensive positions, but Sacramento, they've doubled things up. You know, they do go for these pushes, they do show their presence, but it's not as if Entropiq don't expect them. It's Quirtz in an off angle, and ends up with a kill, repositions for a second, gets the third as well, Quirtz. Make things more easy for Entropiq Prague as they get themselves on double digits.
It's incredibly one-sided right now, Pavlos. And even when Sacramento make the right moves, even when they're able to get entry frags, they're not able to convert. Entropiq willing to spring right back into action, even just off of a couple individual players shining.
XM,
oh, no,
really,
AJT.
really AJT, with all the money in the world and your teammates to drop you, he goes for the XM, and it ends up biting them in the foot. Impersoni, the name, I can't, Impersoni.
Holmes has to
Holmes
recover
as well.
this.
He bounces back, and Entropiq, they bounce back. Holmes holds his ground, and it's down to 3. Ooh. I guess the XM was recovered by my last chance. If he manages to get kills with that, and now that will be the ultimate BM. That could be an easy kill, though, for one, as they do cross and Holmes.
No.
It's actually 2! One was behind the box, and he gets him by accident. And now it's down to my last chance with only an XM in his hands. How fitting.
Pavlos, can he do it? Can he do the ultimate BM of closing it out with AJT's weapon itself, tucked into the corner? Right behind the door, Hones, who pulls the trigger first? He hesitates, and Hones will be able to take it. All 5 kills for him. That's an ace from Hones.
I'm lost for words. First, it's the BM by AJT going in with the XM, trying to show what he's made of. Then, I mean, I guess Hones is able to bring things back. He did a really good job, and now he's on 18 kills, matching sort of Quirtz's performance. But, man, the lineup for him there was so fortunate. And even, he finds a full 4-piece there, doesn't he? He's got a quad kill that round. 11-2. Entropiq, this is even more dominant than the previous map. And Sacramento, even when BM is brought up to the table, they're not able to capitalize upon it.
Couple rounds in between them and the end of the half. Entropiq Prague, they've definitely cemented themselves at this point, and even a pistol round would entirely change the game. Or, well, it would close out the game, is what I meant to say. But in the meantime, they've got him the lead once more. Dernier tugging back at the rope. He is looking so desperate to bring things back in order. Right now, it's all an Entropiq game. Even getting these next 2 rounds, it would simply not be enough to come back. I like how they're switching things up a little bit. 2-1A, 2-1B. They want to keep things a bit confusing for Entropiq so they can't have all of their members. But no, the spray hasn't connected. And Hones is good for 2. The only 2 members remaining are the ones that decided to trot on the path of the A site. 40 seconds remaining, and with Aposany adding 1 to the tally, he's got to deal with an AWP player if he wants to bring things back together. Bomb looking to be recovered. First shot missed. Morisco, that's very uncharacteristic of you. The bomb has been recovered, but now they're looking very desperate to get onto the site.
Oh, yeah, it's just too clean, isn't it? Oh, Sacramento, they seem lost. Isn't this their own map pick? They're not finding any entries. Entropiq Prague are basically a wall, and Sacramento are just walking into it over and over and over again, as if this is GTA San Andreas.
The music, as the game starts, immediately played in my head. You're a good beatboxer. You want to give me a little demo?
I actually don't remember the beat, man. It's been a while.
I'm terrible.
You are, and I think Sacramento were quite frustrated with you being so terrible because they've just gotten 2 kills. So if there's a chance for them to win, that was it. Is it still it? That is the question. Because when Entropiq were down as many players as their opponents are, then more often than not, they've been winning their trades.
The worst part about being 1 HP when you're playing Vertigo is that a gust of wind could actually kill you.
Yeah, that's why I count him in as 3v3, because he's barely alive, barely standing. Morisco ends up dying, and now went down to an equilibrium state. Lecker close by, tries to find the right angle. Free fires position, that's damage onto Imposony. He's literally one bullet away if it's connected correctly. Now Molly down. Smoke, of course, diffuses it instantly. The bomb planted, and he's trying to find the right approach. As the smoke dissipates, he will have some chance. Quirtz, rotation around. Not quite able to connect the shot. This is so difficult by Quirtz, but if he clutches this valiantly, he will put Entropiq into a position where Sacramento won't be able to come back. That will really hurt the morale, but he's going for it. First things first, the guy with the most health is challenged, but won't be able to kill him off. 12-3 will be the scoreline at halftime.
This is way too one-sided at the moment. I do not expect Sacramento, after their performance on Nuke, after their performance on Vertigo so far, to be able to line up 9 rounds in a row. Simple as that. Now, do I want them to challenge that? Absolutely. And I still think they have what it takes to potentially bring it all together, but Entropiq are looking like very different beasts at the moment. And of course, just continuing his performance. Hone's starting to chime in a fashion he hasn't done before. Let's see how this plays out.
Ooh, let's see indeed. Axis and Imposony both chime in. Sacramento getting things done early, but Quirtz is here to stay. He's looking for something extra as his teammate goes for the rotation, but they're actually holding their ground in case of a wraparound will come through. Mole putting himself into position that if Entropiq do opt for going back, the call will be given just in time for Sacramento to get themselves back onto the A side. By Quirtz continues his push, does get another kill in his favor, but Sacramento, they're really scared right now. If they peek, they're fearing for their heads, because Quirtz, he's done so much. But right now, they know that if someone's coming on from behind, they will be in a very difficult spot, as they will have to deal with a pincer. Quirtz does find his way to the right side of this push, and was just waiting for the right time to approach. No utility left for them. This is going to have to be completely dry. Quirtz moves in. Hones does deliver, and all of a sudden down to a 2-on-2. Sacramento are ever so low. The wraparound fails, and Entropiq will find the A site completely open for the taking.
That was supposed to be a 2 versus 4, but because Sacramento continually exposed themselves to the bullets, Entropiq are able to route all the way back to the A site. Now, with very little HP, they need to connect the headshots. Dernier, first man in. His info's been given up, and Hones gets a full shot at repositioning. Quirtz, he's supposed to be the man to bait them out, both lining up. My last chance, and Dernier, at least they've gotten the smoke down. That limits a bit of vision, but it's still the Glocks, man. It's just so difficult to hold them off of the bomb. Stray bullet manages to get one. My last chance, trying to find the angle here. He's exposed his cards. He's got a defuse kit though. Does he get connected? Oh, that was so close, Pavlos.
Yeah, but the smoke faded just in time to reveal him to his opponents. This is just so heartbreaking if you're a Sacramento fan, or if you're a Sacramento player. That's even worse, because you're not given anything. They got so many kills at the start of this round. They got so much done. Look at Imposony. He managed to get 2 quick kills. Those tats were so clean, but the patience of Quez, the patience of the 2 remaining players of Entropiq Prague onto the B stairs angle. The fact that we're able to chip away on their opponents time after time again, and they do come out victorious with the trades at the end of the day and run away with a round now with the pistols, with the better weapons, have to deal with this push. Axis with the MP9 holding them off so far, but Quirtz and Morisco have done what was necessary. Dernier all by himself with a 5-7, but this round is definitely falling into the hands of Entropiq Prague.
Potentially only 2 rounds remaining. Pavlos, with the amount of money they've got, with how they're locked and loaded at the moment, and Sacramento not having anything in the reserve, it needs to be an all-out attack. They need to stop them at 14. That's about it. Very few lifelines remain for Sacramento, and this game is all but finished. Oh, juicy. I was gonna say juicy nay, but not really.
Yeah, could have been better. And already Entropiq Prague They're not suffering from the issues that Sacramento were on the T side. They're really good at finding these entries. And that's just gifting them opportunities one after the other to gain at these rounds. Of course, AKs across the board for them. This is just falling into place for them. Slotting in as naturally as a well-fitted puzzle piece. Sacramento, all they can do is just try and blow from 5 meters away, just try and put that puzzle, try and disrupt it, but I think it's already on the verge of being completed. Mole, though, somehow there's a gust of wind that has brought into the window and has put Entropiq Prague into a disarray. 2 against 3, and Mole might have stopped them. 50 seconds, long distance. How does that even connect? He's got the assistance of Dani as well, making things ever so easier, but Holmes needs to back off. AK-47, switch things off, actually throws it away from the map. Make sure that those weapons cannot be retrieved, and he doesn't care if he dies. AK's being collected. He's
being so
thorough as well. He's expecting to die here, but there are no AKs to be found for Sacramento.
Oh my goodness, that is so nasty. That's not how you're supposed to play CS. Don't do that to a man. He's so thorough with it too. Like, what the hell, man?
One AK after the other. He just threw them off. He was like, yeet. Yeet. Wait, there's another one? Yeet. Didn't even want to play with it. Didn't even want to give it a chance. You've got to respect that.
Yeah, that's actually 3 investments coming out from Sacramento, or at least 2, courtesy of his shenanigans that went through. Now AJT is looking to make a dent here. Quartz walking right into the bomb site, and possibly so well positioned to be able to mow them down. But Morisco, he quickly adds 2 to the tally. Mowell, last man standing, and that was a very chaotic round, but there's still a lot more to see.
The thing is, with Sacramento, they love playing to their own paces. Entropiq are just completely bringing in the chaos. Mole flashed out completely, but it's a 1v1 now. He's dealt with the most healthy member of the team, and it's down to Morisco, AK at hand. He's going to stick around there. He knows that Mole's got space. He doesn't need to move until the bomb is touched. Why Mole hasn't touched the bomb yet? That is a big question. Now he will. Pros don't fake. Oh, he's been spotted. Now Morisco can hide away again. The bomb will be touched again. Flash out. He will stop defusing. He will move out. Does get the kill, but there's no time, is there? There's no. There's no time.
Quite.
That is just sad. Entropiq Prague. That's a 15th. They're now on map and match point.
I think if he stuck it, he would have had a reasonable shot at getting it. But the first time, though.
He just got played. He just got done dirty. I can just hear the song Dirty Deeds playing in my mind right now. Because Entropiq Prague. Oh, I've got a feeling they're listening to it. The AK-47 is thrown off the map. This play, not allowing the opponent to defuse. It's just dirty. Negev, it feels like it's the only solution for Sacramento right now. They're so triggered. Impossibly. He's given up. Oh. Or he distracted his opponent for access to do that. 200 IQ play, right?
Well, it doesn't matter how smart these players can get. I think the game has already sort of written itself, right? Lecker, first kill connected. Mowell, quick to respond, but even if Sacramento can get it, it's going to be a very short-lived victory. Do we really expect 10 rounds in a row?
No. But we can expect some further shenanigans. Quirts, trigger discipline. How long can you go? It's the song of how low can you go? How? No. Okay, what a flick onto the second, Quirts. Things are down to 2-on-2. No way. Oh, but Axis finds him. Lecker now goes for the bomb plant and has to deal with 2. Peeks out, the flash is perfect for them. Spray down to the first, not the second, not the right read. He took a guess, he took a gamble, but Sacramento will at least get another round into the game.
That is a massive staircase to be staring upon, though. It's not the staircase to heaven just yet. It's the staircase to overtime, and then you get to heaven. Even then you don't get to heaven. You get to map 3.
Oh, it's just that round. I don't know how to analyze it because it all just started with someone spraying with max sensitivity, max DPI with a negative. And it seems this round is falling to pieces for Entropiq? Question mark? No. Topsy-turvy. Ragdolls everywhere. What is life? What is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
God.
Did Quetz just fall to 4 damage?
We even had the same reaction. That's how bad it was. But man, Entropiq Prague, they've got a shot at bringing it all together very quickly. Sacramento, they're on life support, and Entropiq, they're just poking at the outlet it's plugged into. Slower pace now. Taking their sweet time. A whole minute on the clock for them to play with it as they please, honestly.
The thing is, this is so doable, right? Because Sacramento, they basically polarized their positionings. Although there's a deep ramp push right now from My Last Chance, they won't be able to fight together. So Entropiq, they can trade this kill, even if they lose one player, right? So what will happen for them, essentially? Well, technically, what is most likely to happen? It's either a 1v1 clutch at the end, or a 2v1 scenario for Entropiq. So My Last Chance, he needs to have so much impact in this one. Bomb being planted for the other side, not being spotted. They know where he is, though, and that's the bomb planted. Now need to be aware of Moel, won't be. That's one quick kill. So this is what's going wrong for Entropiq right now. Without getting that first kill onto My Last Chance, that is going to be a little bit difficult. Morisco goes for the full-on wrap around, but the bomb isn't planted for him. He now realizes this. The bomb has been defused. Even though he runs away with a kill, Sacramento get themselves a 6th round.
It was such a double-edged sword. It protected them initially from My Last Chance when they were getting the bomb down, but it also makes it very difficult to recover. When did that
I love
happen?
that we're getting a second replay of that in slow motion. And a different
we just
angle.
need a 3rd replay and a 4th replay. We just need to keep seeing that over and over until he's embarrassed.
And we need music on it as well. We need the all around me are familiar faces, or the the Katy Perry soundtrack.
Game. We need those black bars, cinematic and all.
Yeah. Next time. But honestly, that was quite amusing to say the least. But actually, for a few rounds in a row, I think that's been the 3rd round in a row where Sacramento do win out on their individual duels early. So Entropiq Prague, without able to capitalize on this at any chance, may give them some sort of a situation where they will gain some tempo lead. Lecker does aggress. They need to be careful of their backline. Dernier there to deliver. He does find one, and now Quez is locked. Imposter wins his own trade as Holmes looks to push. He's all by himself now and needs to find a rifle, or else this could be it for him. There he goes. He falls. Sacramento, that's 7 rounds in the bag, and that's 3 in a row.
Do Sacramento have a reasonable chance in this, Pavlos? I feel like their CT side has looked a lot more different. I know they botched the piss around. I know that Entropiq just got a bit more of a buffer based off of that, but consider this. Had Entropiq not won the piss around, Sacramento would be around that 13-10 mark right now. You wouldn't see Entropiq with this kind of
Entropiq won this round like this. Oh no, the nades come in! Oh, the nade stack! But do they check sandbags? They do not, and that is where they fall. Holmes able to close him out in the end, but it's still a 3v3. 2 rifles to be collected, but Dernier is not going to give them the chance. Looking for the shots as they do try and trickle in with the bouncing of attention. HE grenade, Morisco putting that deagle to the test. And now they've got the advantage. Do they move in? Molly to slow them down just a little bit, but the bomb is out into the open. Axis puts that MP9 to good use as he now tries to bring things back. Holmes again from a distance. Tech 9 finds a headshot. Dernier, AK a hand, but Holmes has only got a tech to work with. Needs a rifle. Dig from a distance. Only needs a body shot now. Tries to close up the gap, but Holmes relocates. There is time. He can get the bomb, but Dernier now from a further back angle knows that this is the advantage he needs. Walks right in front of him, but it's a pistol round for Entropiq Prague to close things out. Holmes finds